Hey Next Rankers, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to discuss the one thing in YouTube that you should not do. But before we do that, please hit that subscribe button and give us some comments about what you think of the video, and also turn the bell notification on so that you can continue to next rank up.
So what is this one thing that you should never do on YouTube? It's sub for sub. You should never do sub for sub. At the end of the day, you're just going to end up hurting your own channel rather than helping it.
That's right. There are other things that people tell you not to do that, you know, it's arguable and sometimes you can do, but this is actually one thing you should never do because it hurts you immediately and it never helps you in any way, shape, or form. And this is why.
First and foremost, sub for sub is actually completely against the YouTube community guidelines. So if you get caught doing it, you could actually get into trouble and lose your YouTube channel.
That's really should be the end of it, right? But we understand why people want to do sub for sub. They want to get to those monetization milestones quicker. But it actually hurts you in the long run because you never know. These guys that sub back might just unsubscribe a couple of days later, so you may not actually get anywhere.
Now, even if they do stick around on your channel, the real question is, are they watching your videos and engaging in your content? In most cases, when you do sub for sub, they don't end up watching your content. They don't care about your content. All they cared about was to subscribe to you so you would subscribe back. So from an algorithm perspective, when the algorithm sees that you have a high subscriber count, but you post a video that's only getting 20 some views, it says, okay, well, the content in this video must not be great because people don't care about it.
And on top of that, another thing that the algorithm really cares about is retention. YouTube wants people to stay on their platform, so it cares how much of something people watch. Now, there are people who will do sub for sub and they will kind of watch your video a little bit and maybe leave a very vague or irrelevant comment. That does not help with engagement, and essentially the algorithm is to promote engagement, so you're actually fighting against yourself, and that's why it does not help.
Now, this doesn't mean that you can't subscribe to other YouTubers that may subscribe back to you. If you come across a YouTuber and you like their content, and vice versa, they come across you and they like your content, absolutely go for it. Subscribe to each other, watch each other's videos, comment, but don't do it for channels that are irrelevant to you, and don't ask people to do it if your channel is irrelevant to them.
There's one more point about sub for sub and why it actually doesn't just hurt you immediately in the short term and in the long term. So let's say you somehow get your channel up and hit those monetization goals. Well, the stats that you're getting from YouTube Studio is kind of polluted at this point because you never know if the stats are being contributed to by people who really care about your stuff and not care about your stuff. You don't know the percentage, and at the end of the day, you are not going to be able to get this good feedback and continue to do things that people want to watch. So it also hurts you in the very long run.
So to wrap this up, just stop doing sub for sub because you're just hurting yourself in the long run. Now, I do want to point out a real world scenario that we've been in. So it's really great to advertise your YouTube videos in groups across Reddit, Facebook, all different social media platforms. And there's really nothing wrong with doing that. You get to meet a lot of other content creators, and a lot of our YouTube family that we are now friends and family with, we met through these groups. Be aware that these groups will ask a lot for sub. Just don't participate in it. But you can still grow organically and use these groups. For example, our first YouTube channel, Tia and Andy Vacation Days, we've been growing organically for the past 2 years that we've been running it. And what we did notice is at the very beginning versus now, the retention and the stats that we're seeing video after video is consistently getting better. And that's because the people who are subscribed to us actually care about the content that we're posting, and they keep having them come back so they can see all of the new things that we're putting up.
And the last point here is that when you do sub for sub, you start doing things very repetitively, and you end up acting like a robot. So YouTube might think you're a robot and just start removing even your real comments on other people's channels. At the end of the day, all we're trying to say is it really doesn't help you to grow in any way, shape, or form.
Well, next rankers, that wraps up this video on the one thing you should stop doing on YouTube. We hope you found this helpful, and if you have any questions, you know where to put them, in the comments below. We'll catch you on the next one.